Hi, welcome to Fantasy Booms and Busts Week 7. My name's CJ Galino.
And I'm Sam Bloomquist. Let's get into it, CJ.
Sam, I really like Cam Newton. Cam Newton is facing one of the worst rush defense in St. Louis this week. He had 3 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground against the Minnesota Vikings. I cannot see him having a bad game against a struggling St. Louis Rams defense.
I agree with you there, CJ, but you never know with Cam Newton. He can be terribly inconsistent sometimes, but he definitely has the talent to run and throw it against the St. Louis Rams.
The thing about Cam is that everyone knows that he has the ability to break off a massive run with his legs every time he touches the ball. So I can't see him not doing that against a struggling Rams defense.
Somebody I like at the quarterback position this week, though, CJ, is Phillip Rivers against the Jags. It's been a great season for Phillip, and he's more comfortable working with his receivers, and he's making a run for the playoffs despite the Chiefs and the Broncos' undefeated record. Last week he led the Chargers to a very big win over Indianapolis, and has really proven himself worthy of being one of the top quarterbacks in the league this season.
The thing about Phillip Rivers is he's so inconsistent. Everyone's seen that throughout the past, and every season he struggles at certain points. He struggles when the Chargers need him to do well. And I don't know about him. He's been looking good so far. I just don't know if that's going to be enough for him.
All right. Who do you like now, Siege?
I really like Anquan Boldin this week. Anquan Boldin has been struggling a lot. Anquan Boldin had an amazing first week. He had 208 yards in the air against the Packers. The Packers are a good defense, and if he can do that, he can break out a big game every week. Fantasy owners are hesitant to start him solely because he's been underperforming every week, honestly. Besides week 1, he hasn't really put up much. I mean, this week he had about, I want to say, 30 receiving yards. Nothing much for fantasy owners to work with. However, he's too good not to. He's a tough receiver, really fast, doesn't mind running over the middle and getting hit. He's got to have a breakout game eventually.
I agree with you there. Colin Kaepernick is the sole contributor to whether or not Anquan Boldin will have a good game or not. If Colin Kaepernick has a good game, Anquan Boldin will have a good game because he's one of the only receivers that Colin Kaepernick has to throw to.
Absolutely. Who do you like this week?
Well, let me tell you who I don't like is Larry Fitzgerald against Seattle. He has a great talent. Everybody knows Larry Fitzgerald is one of the top receivers in the NFL, but Carson Palmer will not be able to connect with him next week. The secondary of the Seattle Seahawks with Richard Sherman probably covering Larry Fitzgerald will shut them down almost immediately, and Carson Palmer is not prone to throwing picks.
The thing about the Seattle's defense, like you touched on, is Richard Sherman is a fantastic cornerback. Sherman really came onto the scene when he had that incident with Tom Brady calling him out via Twitter. And since then, he's really backed up his play. You know, Sherman was kind of no-name corner, really, before that. I mean, everyone knew that he was good and everyone knew that he could play. But since then, he's been a consistent lockdown cornerback. And like you said, with Carson Palmer throwing the ball, Sherman locking down Fitzgerald, I don't see it being very productive.
Absolutely.
And someone I really like this week is BenJarvus Green-Ellis. Fantasy owners might be a little hesitant to start BenJarvus Green-Ellis because Gio Bernard has been cutting into his carries. But there's been games this year where Green-Ellis is still going to get 15 to 20 touches a game. And he's good enough to make plays with those touches. So I wouldn't be too concerned about Gio Bernard. BenJarvus Green-Ellis is still the leading rusher for Cincinnati. I think that's going to continue. I don't think it's Bernard's turn yet to take the starting role completely away. Might happen in the future, but for now, you need someone to fill your flex. I would start Green-Ellis.
I agree with you there. Through the bye week and any other time, there's been many injuries throughout the league, especially on teams like the Falcons. And BenJarvus Green-Ellis is a good player to have who is somewhat consistent. Even though he's splitting carries with Gio Bernard, he still has proven himself to be able to bust out a big game every now and then.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a big game this week.
Along with running backs you may need for the bye week, I would pick up Zach Stacy off the waiver wire. He's now the featured back in St. Louis, and he played 38 of 47 snaps last week against Houston. This week he's playing Carolina, which isn't the greatest defense in the league, so he might be able to get a couple points onto the board for you. He's good for a flex position or, like I said earlier, a bye week or perhaps a running back 3.
Thing about Zach Stacy, though, is he's not really weathered in this league. He's not been through a lot. People don't really know what he can do. Now, I think you might be able to find someone more effective off the waiver wire. If not, I don't think Stacy's a bad choice because, like you said, he did get a lot of touches against Houston. But I would do a little more waiver wire searching before you pick up Stacy. Someone that I really like this week, if Nick Foles is a starting quarterback, is Riley Cooper. The reason I say that is because Riley Cooper has been pretty much ineffective with Vic as the starting quarterback. Now, there's a little bit of a quarterback competition between Foles and Vic. Now, Foles is very keen to throw to Riley Cooper. And when he does, Riley Cooper can make plays. So if Foles is behind center, I really think that Riley Cooper would have a big day. If not, I might not start him if Vic's the starter.
I agree with you there. Deshaun Jackson usually comes out more with Mike Vick, but Riley Cooper and Nick Foles are sort of paired together. So if Nick Foles is the quarterback, you're going to want Riley Cooper on your roster.
Absolutely. What else you got, Sam?
I've got Jordy Nelson against the Browns. With James Jones and Randall Cobb both out, Jordy Nelson and the other receiver, Boykin, are the only healthy receivers on the Pack's roster. And Aaron Rodgers has shown time and time and again that he can find his receivers. He's one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in the league, and the Browns' defense isn't anything spectacular. So I'd say Jordy Nelson should have a great game against the Browns this week.
I like that pick a lot. The main reason I like that pick is because it's Aaron Rodgers. And we talk about this week in and week out. Aaron Rodgers is going to make his receivers look better. And Jordy Nelson's got a lot of talent to begin with. Someone like Rodgers throwing the ball, I honestly don't even care who they're playing. I would put Jordy Nelson in the lineup. He's that good, and his quarterback is that good.
Absolutely.
Well, that does it for Fantasy Booms and Busts Week 7. We hope to see you next week.
Have a good one, folks.